It has been a while, right? I haven't done any recordings in a while related to philosophy or psychology for a while, for the simple fact that I didn't know what else to really say. I didn't know what else to really talk about. I felt like I had expressed everything that I've experienced within the current moment of life. Things always change. Things always become something different, something new, something old, something to forget, and something to forgive. I've noted about how there's so many different things in life to see, to note, to understand. Whether we appreciate it or hate it later on in life, that all varies depending on the individual and what we've experienced. The one thing that we fail as individuals to do is see the other. There are plenty of times where we do see someone for who they are, but we let our own emotions, our own internal biases come into play to these moments, right? And because of it, it drives them away, or it pushes in a sense that is much more harsher than it should have been, right? You mean well, but it causes more problems than it should. We forget to see the individual. We forget to see the moment. We forget to see each other. We've all had different experiences in the lives we live, but it does not mean we get to downplay the emotions presented to us, right? This world is too busy trying to say either one side is too much of a fucking daisy or the other side is too much of a fucking tight asshole, right? I speak with much more venom in this statement for the simple fact that I need to make sure I make my point clear and understandable to everyone and everyone. Now, we can learn to be strong and we can learn to be vulnerable at the same time. It's just a matter of knowing how to do such a thing, right? It's a matter of being willing to, being able to understand, being willing to see the different perspectives. I will always have a hate for this world for it being so ignorant to the bigger pictures of life, to the bigger picture of the moments presented to us, given to us. We all have different perspectives in life, understandable, but it does not mean we let it hold us down and ignore someone else. Given the nature of my job, I work with the youth, the ones who will end up becoming the inheritors of the earth later on when we pass, when the older pass, right? And it's our voices, our actions that come into play to show who we truly are and how we will leave this earth. There's a lot of problems given. There's a lot of discrimination, segregation, racism, homophobia, etc., etc. So much of it, and we need to put a stop to that. We will always be in this eternal loop because we are too ignorant and blind by older visions given to us. We live our lives with what was presented to us. Whether things were given to us biologically, psychologically, sociologically, economically, etc., etc. It does not mean we have to be set in stone. It does not mean we have to be stuck and stagnant to the moments presented to us, to the emotions given to us. We can be more. We can be bigger. We can be better. I've lived in this world long enough to understand a lot of things. I've understood that I've been naive. I've understood that I've been wise. I've been knowledgeable. And I still know nothing. But I'm willing to grow and learn. There are always going to be times, though, I will note, where I am stuck, I am stagnant, and I am fighting against the grain because I deem my view more than others. But I will still learn to push past that, because if I were to let myself stay stuck on that, then I will never grow, I will never learn, I will never be better than the person presented to me when I look myself in the mirror. We're all struggling in one way or another. Some more than others, yes, but we're not held down. We are not stuck. I don't know what impact my words will have to this greater world. But what I do know is that I'm willing to make an impact to my smaller world, to those close to me, to those I interact with. Especially when it comes to those who will be the future of this world. To give an example, there was a kid who was being bullied. I remember seeing them crying, hiding away. I saw a bunch of other kids trying to go over there to talk to them. I had no clue what was happening. I just knew I had to go. And so I went. I talked to the kid. They were crying. They were talking about how one individual in their class was telling everybody else of the same gender that they should not be friends with them. My blood boiled. Because why the fucking hell should some kids suffer? Why the hell should somebody have been taught that at such a young age, to discriminate, to hate? We can't hate each other. We are people who live in this world, and we must learn to adapt and accept one another. Learn how to deal with differences. They are children, and because of this world and what we live in, we oppress them with our own tainted thoughts. And it's disgusting and it's disturbing, and I fucking hate it. I remember limiting myself to being a person who tries to be indifferent within the emotions given to me, but I can't. Not within the moment given to me. Not within the things that I've seen and that's been presented. I can't be idle in that regard. Don't get me wrong, I've also noted in one of my older videos that I am still a coward by hiding behind the screen. By not doing much. And the most that I do is talk to those in my life. Again, I've decided to try to make my difference through the conversations with those in my life. We all deal with so much. We all have moments of vulnerability. We're not all perfect. We are humans. Humans. We are a species that can think, that can adapt, that can evolve. We are not stuck and stagnant in the ways given to us. I've already seen so many people within my own life say that we are stuck. We will never change. We will never grow. We will never be what we were or could be. Because as we get older, we should be stuck, right? We should not be able to evolve. I don't believe that. I believe that we can. It's just one's own stubbornness to actually face that. To acknowledge that. To try to be better than that. I wish I knew how to show this world peace. To teach it peace. I'm not special in any regards. Not in any way, shape, or form. I'm just a normal fucking human being, just like everyone else. Some people are smart. Some people are creative. Some people are really good with certain things. Sometimes you're just stuck in your own ways. Sometimes you're just ordinary. And that's okay to be ordinary. It's how you decide to go about life. And how to decide to put more meaning into this world. Not the smartest person in this world. I'm not the most selfless person in this world. I'm not courageous, not bold. I've seen somebody who is more courageous and bold than I, and so much more than I would ever be. And I respect them so much. I appreciate that their existence is here. Because I can't do the things that they do. If I was able to, I wouldn't be hiding behind a screen. But here I am, hiding behind a screen. So I will do what I can, given what I can. Just because you can't associate yourself with somebody else who's much more than you doesn't mean you have to let them be a shadow of what you can do. We live our lives in ignorance. We live our lives in complacency. We live our lives in just expecting it to be as it is. Our actions have a lot of meaning to how things shape out, to the reactions given to us, with the words that we express. There was someone that I loved very deeply. And though our time was very short and limited, I couldn't have expressed an even deeper love than I can say now. I can still say I love them, even though our time was short. I let them go because I knew they weren't strong enough to do so, and I damned myself for the actions I had to take. Some people in this world are not strong enough to make the harder decisions, and so sometimes you might have to take that upon yourself. And I'm able to. I was willing to, but I hated it. And afterwards it killed me. It was something that I had to learn about again. About a part of me dying because I hate having to be the stronger one. I'm not the strongest person in this world. But I'm not the weakest. So I have to do what I can. What I must. I've suffered through my own fares of life. But people have suffered much worse than I have. Some people just don't make it out. And it's such a painful thing to see. There's always a needing to be showing love, understanding, compassion. If we don't, we continue to kill ourselves, continue to fight against each other, against the life that's been given to us. Whether religious or not, we're still alive. We're still conscious. And we can't understand each other if we choose to yell and cover our ears. We're not children, we're adults. And if you're younger, then be better than the generation given before. Present now. Do better. Be better. So that way our world can learn more peace. A utopia is impossible, indeed, because everybody's own perspective of what a utopia is different. But it does not mean we can't learn how to be more compassionate and understanding and willing to put in the effort to be more. As I sit here and I look at the people passing by me, I see the stories given on their face. Of course, I mean that to somewhat a metaphorical sense. I don't know their stories. I don't know these people personally or anything like that. I see a couple sitting down, and I see how madly in love they are. And I see a father and a child, and I see how happy they both are living in that moment. And then I see an individual on their own, and wondering what the hell kind of life are they living? What are they feeling in that moment? What are they thinking? Because every person on their own is experiencing something very different than what is known. I've learned to see this world through many different lenses, many different thoughts and feelings. I've played a lot of things in my mind. I've seen many different reactions, and I've learned to see how ugly this world really is. But I've also seen how beautiful it is, how kind and compassionate it can be. People call this world black or white or gray, but I see it as something colorful. Colorful in the sense that there's so many more things than just what is presented to us on the surface, right? We see good and evil. We see the gray in between because somebody has a certain view of life. But then there's something more to it. Something much more fascinating. Something much more deeper than what words can express. Through the actions shown, we see and experience more. And while I hate and curse this world for how awful it can be, I love it so much. Because I've seen what it can do to show something more peaceful. Now, whether you want to deem me delusional or not, I found myself in my waking life able to find peace within moments of chaos, no matter how hard it can get. Because there's still a peace that can be found, no matter what. I remember moments where I was seeing my coworkers around me dealing with very chaotic moments, and while I was either assisting them or off in the distance observing, there was still a peace flowing through me, a silence from this world. Not a silence of just not being seen or heard or feeling lonely or isolated from everything around, no. It was a silence of peace, of love, acceptance, just being who you are. And it's so beautiful. I remember asking a coworker, how does the earth feel to you? They were talking about their experience, about how it was being too chaotic for them at the moment, that it was too much. And then, as I heard their words, I saw what they're saying, but I didn't feel what they were saying. Because my world was much more peaceful than theirs. Given the ups and downs of the life that I've experienced, well, there's so much peace. There's so much tranquility. Even through a storm, you can find that. It's just learning how. Even as I've learned how to find that peace through a storm, I've had moments where I faltered significantly. Much worse than what I've experienced. And well, during those times it was so much pain, so much confusion, so much being stuck within a loop, that it didn't seem like there was any progress or any escape. But given time to break away from that, to push past that, to understand something away from it, well, it's something more than what's given. I've seen a lot of hate. I've seen a lot of disgust. I've seen a lot of pain. And sometimes I don't know how to deal with those emotions, because it's so much harder than what one could express after seeing so much. I've learned a lot through the spectrum of emotions that we deal with. Happiness, sorrows, anger, jealousy, ignorance, being bold. So many emotions that could be expressed. I've experienced so much of it. And the biggest one that I had recently learned through was rage, anger. I never thought I was capable of feeling anger or rage in a much more deeper level. I had a moment in my life where I had felt it. It was like I was kissed by the heat of the sun. And then I was touched by it. And then I was plunged deep within it. And it became something more. Rage was the last emotion in which I would soon learn to be engulfed by. And how? Why? How was I able to deal with those emotions? Why did I have to deal with those emotions? Those were questions that ran through my head. It's also I could understand the world better. Understand everyone better. And given a time that I need to find more appreciation for. Anyways, I just wanted to make this video, this recording, to show that we need to fight for a better future. To question ourselves more. So we can see a bigger picture. Feel something more. Understand something more. Do something more. And to not be complacent. And I understand there are plenty more people who are doing much more than what I can do, given the recording I give. But it still doesn't mean I won't try to put my own 2 cents into the matter. To some degree, I am privileged as hell, and there's so much more given to me that others wish they can have. But I need to make sure I use my own voice to show that I'm willing to speak for them as well. To be the voice of the people. For the people. Even if I am a person hiding behind a screen just to use my voice to speak, while others go out there and do more physically than I would dare to do. This is given in hopes that somebody who listens will be able to do more than just listen, to inspire somebody to do more. And I'll find ways to do my own thing in my own life outside of this. That is all for this recording. Thank you for listening to whoever listens to this all. And I wish you the best. I wish you peace and strength and courage. And I wish you to know that you can love yourself. And things will get better if you fight for something better.